seeking shelter in different corners, never finding a place to stay. Somehow ended up here on the ground. Brother, help me up, I've fallen down.
We are currently in the Bahamas, but we broke the yoke on our drive leg, which means we really can't use our engine. Otherwise, we would risk further damaging our transom plate. Because we're so new to sailing, we decided to fly out a friend to help us sail Thalia back across the Gulf Stream to Florida. I set up one of our cabins for Hunter with clean bedding, and then I tried to go around and gather all the snacks I could find on the boat because at this point we were out of fresh food. Patrick just left to pick up our friend Hunter. I'm pretty anxious because for one, this is going to be the longest sail journey we've ever been on, and two, he just left in the dinghy that's like 3 miles away, and we've got, communication. He's got the radio and I've got the radio here, and I'm still nervous about it, even though it'll be fine. When you love someone, it's hard not to worry about them more than you even worry about yourself. I'm not nervous about Hunter coming aboard or anything. We both love Hunter. He's great. I think it'll be as fun of a time as it can be. It's the trip in general. It's just like all these unknowns. We've both been taking meclizine, I think that's what it's called, for motion sickness, so hopefully it doesn't get too bad. I don't think the waves will be that bad. The longest part of this journey is going to be in the Bahama Bank. It shouldn't be as bad in there. It's crossing the Gulf Stream again that I am worried about, and that'll be a shorter stint, but I'm still a little bit nervous about how sick everyone is going to get, so I guess we'll see.
Super excited. Welcome, Hunter, to Thalia.
I'm happy to be here. Came in from Miami this morning, hopped a plane, a taxi, and a ferry, followed by
a dinghy,
and
yeah.
Now I'm here.
We flew Hunter in so he can help us sail this boat back without an engine. So we're gonna see how that goes.
You're sweating it. It's not gonna be too bad. Maybe a little slow, maybe by the way of the wind, but nothing crazy.
Weather-wise, I feel like most people aren't trying to cross right now, but honestly, it doesn't look too bad. Like 20, 25 knots of wind, like at the worst portion, but it's all downwind sailing, which we actually haven't done a lot of yet, so kind of excited for that.
Hopefully it's a lot smoother. We can hop in a trough and, ride it for a couple miles at a time. That'd be the ideal.
The thing is, too, it's like, people get really picky over weather windows. I met the man who sailed this boat across the Atlantic Ocean, and I know they hit some gnarly weather. So as far as can the boat do it? No doubt. No doubt Thalia's got it. It's just about making sure we arrive there with enough marbles to come back together.
Yeah, not sell the boat immediately after.
Yeah.
But no, weather should be fine. I mean, it's a sailboat. We'll put some reefs in and we should be good.
Yeah, we'll probably sail with 2 reefs in the main the whole time. Head sail out for probably most of it, maybe like a reef or 2 in that as well. And then if things get too gnarly, we'll just drop the head sail and just use our storm sail.
It's gonna go great.
Exactly. Hunter's been like a lot of our land support, and when anytime anything goes wrong, I'm immediately texting Hunter. So much so that anytime I'm talking to Hunter, Michaela's like, "What's broken?" I'm just like, I just wanted to see how he was doing.
Looking for a friend out in the big blue.
Yeah, we met Hunter and his wife, Bridget, and they kind of introduced us up to a lot of the life, so we're super excited to have him. It's been like a minute since we got to hang out.
Asked her if she wanted to come, and she looked at me and said, no thank you. I'll see you when you get home.
Well, somebody has to watch Timber.
Exactly,
so
right?
Can't leave Timber out of it. Well, let's try to sail off this anchor.
It's gonna go great.
Before we set sail, we went over our plans and route for the day. We planned on doing one straight shot from the Abaco Islands to West Palm Beach, cutting through the bank and then across the Gulf Stream. We started our sail on Friday afternoon, knowing that the latest we could get in was Sunday night. Yes, unfortunately, we are sailing on a schedule, which is never ideal. First thing we did was bring in the second anchor.
Do you think we had enough out?
Yeah, I think we were good.
The lighting wasn't right. You're gonna need to go drop it again.
We brought in the bridle, so we were just on the main anchor and then got the mainsail up.
My hand, if some should slip away, I'll find where it lands.
Patrick was up front with the anchor and Hunter was at the helm. We slowly gained a little traction on the mainsail, enough to move forward and start picking up the chain.
It's gonna take a minute for us to rock back and forth a little bit to get any power in the main. Might also be a little hard with 2 reefs, because the wind's not like that crazy. You got tension on the main, so it should start to move. When we start making this turn, you're gonna want to ease that out slowly.
This?
Yeah. I don't know how long that turn's gonna take to actually make.
Yeah.
But, you know. Okay, start to slack it. File it out like 2 to 3 feet for now. That's good.
We had quite the audience. I think everyone in the anchorage was out on their boat watching us sail off anchor.
Roll out the jib! He says is that off the jib?
Yeah. Okay, come on back. You want to yell back? Slow and steady. We got this.
Just keep the engine on it?
Yeah.
After we pulled up the anchor and turned around, we ended up letting out some of the Genoa too.
I have to say a huge thank you to having Hunter here, because there's no way we would have gotten out of that anchorage by ourselves without our motor. Just doing the sail. That was like really cool. It was really awesome to get out of there just under sail. It was really neat. I know, it was just a lot of fun.
The first portion of this sail was quite lovely, but slow. I was able to make dinner. We call these tuna bowls, which is rice, tuna salad, sriracha mayo, and dried seaweed. When we have fresh food, I also really love adding cucumber or avocado to this. This has been our favorite way we found to eat canned tuna so far.
Okay, so we just kind of fixed one of our furling issues. Hunter noticed that this block over here was kind of slid all the way down onto the bottom here. You can see kind of in the metal sheet right there. If you notice, there's actually some tape where this block probably used to be. And I just kind of wonder if like that day that it got stuck and there was all that force on it, it pulled the block down. Also, the fact that there was tape there probably meant that it was sliding and Casper put the tape to add more tension. For a second there, we couldn't get the mainsail all the way furled down, and that's because it was all piling up, all the line was piling up on the bottom. But now with this moved all the way up back where it probably belongs, so, you know, somebody with a little more experience, somebody with another set of eyes, and now I think our mainsail is feeling a little better. We did notice that the lead line ripped down, so we'll fix that eventually.
The tide comes in, pulls some sand back into the ocean. The land is lost, another fight it cannot win. The cycle begins.
We didn't really have the wind direction or speed to be moving quickly, which was setting us up for hitting the Gulf Stream in the worst weather window. It was about 25 to 30 knots of wind with 9 to 12 foot waves.
We just had our first night and we've actually adjusted our plans a bit. Originally, we were thinking about just like sending it across the bank and getting to the Gulf when we got there and crossing. There is like a section of Saturday that we really want to avoid. Saturday, like afternoon through night. We'd get there basically the exact time we don't want to get there. So we're actually gonna like audible our plan and say, okay, well, we can get halfway across the bank-ish, over to Great Sale Cay, and at Great Sale Cay, there's like in that west anchorage, there's a giant stretch of land that will give us protection from the east. We can anchor basically anywhere there. Then we could just like rest for 12 hours. Saturday afternoon, pick up across the bank again, and be getting to the Gulf Stream right Sunday right before sunrise. It'd be like much more comfortable. Between Hunter and I think the sail planning, I'm feeling very good about it. He just went and laid because we're gonna break up this like 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. I talked to Towboat US and they were kind of like, yeah, no shot we'd come get you from the Avocos. You'd be like pretty on your own, paying for a tow all the way to West End. I think this came out to be like the best option. And also it's been like fantastic getting to hang out with Hunter. It's like learning together while out here doing it. So super grateful for him, obviously, but also like Bridget for allowing this nonsensical adventure to happen. I'm gonna sit out here for 3 hours looking around and making sure we don't hit anything. I went to wake up Hunter and oh my god, I thought he was dead. He's such a heavy sleeper, but he took the second shift. It is 4 in the morning and we just anchored in the West Anchorage in Great Sale Cay. Pretty protected from the swell, and also we have good protection from the wind. You know, we let down 100 feet of chain and we're not dragging, which is the important part, but it was all kind of like bing bang boom. We didn't have any, I mean, it's also too dark to really set up cameras to see anything. But yeah, we're gonna be here probably till like tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and then take the rest of the bank to the Gulf Stream once it kind of calms down through Sunday. We'll see you in the AM.
After sailing the first 10 to 12 hours, it was nice to anchor up and let everyone get a chance to sleep and have a few hours off before we set sail again. But honestly, at this point, looking back, I wish we would have just braved the weather.
New day. It's nice that it's bright out. We are still anchored at Great Sale Cay and probably going to be here till like 6 or 7 o'clock where we'll take off, go over the bank at night again, which is like a little iffy based off of like rocks, but we also draw like nothing. And the charts have been pretty good as far as calling out where the rocks are. And then we should be hitting the Gulf Stream like kind of at the perfect time, Sunday morning, when the weather's calming down, and just be able to ride that over to West Palm Beach. But before that, we are going to try to put up the back cover of our bimini top because the wind blowing behind you makes it super cold. We're gonna see if we can get this up and if it'll help, one with the salt spray and two with the wind. You can only sail with the mast right in the middle of the dead center. It's just like really neat when it's like designed obviously with exactly it in mind.
Yeah, this was custom made for this boat.
Yeah.
We set off Saturday evening after making some taco meat and rice for dinner. And I think we were just too comfortable from the day sailing before and not having any seasickness at this point to realize just how bad of an idea that was. Because those taco bowls definitely came back to bite us.
And once again, we are taking off. Leaving from anchor wasn't so bad because we had just like infinity space in the anchorage. We have like 20 knots of wind, so we actually have like a couple reefs in our head sail as we are making our way across the bank. We're trying to hit the Gulf Stream right at like daylight so that one, the weather calms down a bit, but also like we just feel better entering as soon as there's some light around 6 a.m. And right now we kind of have like a perfect lineup. We might need to slow down just a touch, but also the wind's supposed to drop a bit. We're just kind of taking our time. We'll take some shifts tonight and then see what it's like in the morning.
The wind we were trying to avoid in the Gulf Stream was behind us in the bank, which meant we were sailing a consistent 6 to 7 knots, covering 55 miles in a little under 9 hours. I came in to lay down for a bit, feeling pretty queasy, but we were all taking shifts, but the waves in the bank were getting rollier and rollier. So Patrick and I were already seasick and throwing up in buckets before we even hit the Gulf Stream. We were only doing 2-hour shifts, and on mine, I was getting sick every 3 to 5 minutes. I only made it to an hour and a half before I couldn't take it anymore and switched off with Hunter. We were feeling so good about our previous sails and really felt like we were getting a handle on our seasickness, but wow, did this sail knock us back on our butts. We hit the Gulf Stream around 4 a.m. and we're still flying by Thalia's standards. With the wind behind us, we thought we would be arriving at West Palm Beach around noon. We would have had plenty of daylight and finally been over the rough part of this adventure, but fate was not that kind. As we crossed the halfway point in the Gulf Stream, our speed crawled from 6 knots to 4 knots to 2 knots to 1 knot. The wind died down and the current pulled us north, and unfortunately, Patrick and I were still just as sick. We couldn't keep medicine down, so there was no point in trying to take more. Patrick was trying everything from sleep, saltines, Gatorade, ginger, really anything he could. I decided to dehydrate myself and was just in and out of sleep. But in 6 to 8 foot waves, hardly moving in the Gulf Stream, we just could not get our legs under us. This is where Hunter became the absolute hero of the story. We would not have been able to do this without him. Although, if I'm being honest, we also would have never picked this weather window without him. But when sailing on a schedule, which I know, we should be avoiding at all costs, sometimes you just have to figure out how to make it work. We needed to get hauled out on Monday, and the parts were already waiting at the marina. So with Hunter taking the helm and Patrick and I just doing anything we could to hold it together, we were dragged north and took whatever patch we could grab to get out of the Gulf Stream. Unfortunately, that meant we landed about 15 nautical miles north of our desired inlet at around 5 p.m. So we put the wind at the beam, took the rolls as they came, and sailed south to meet up with our towboat. We had called Towboat US at this point to get someone to take us to the marina. The plan was to get taken to the north side wall of the haul-out slip and tie up there for the night. But unfortunately, the towboat driver was running about an hour late from when we would get to the inlet. It was somewhat of a relief, but also the hard part. We were finally in the inlet around 8:30 p.m. with no light except the pollution of the surrounding city. Hunter woke up Patrick so they could discuss what to do next. With our towboat driver being late and being so tired of sitting in the ocean, Hunter and Patrick decided to take on the channel together using only the sails and wind behind us. Getting through the channel was not that hard. It was a larger shipping channel, and after many calls to the channel, we heard no commercial traffic coming out. So we lined up our shot and took it with 2 reefs in the mainsail and the head sail mostly in. The current was pulling us almost 2 extra knots in the inlet, so even with minimal sails, we were still going almost 5 knots. As we arrived closer to the turning basin, we realized that the anchorages over here are busy. Not just a little busy, but quite packed from an anchoring under sail perspective. We took our first shot of turning up into the wind, Patrick at the bow ready to drop anchor and Hunter at the helm. We rounded the channel marker trying to catch just the edge of the anchorage. But the current ripped us backwards and we lost all of our speed, taking away that little bit of steerage we had and the hopes of anchoring under sail in one go. As we fell back, the wind picked up on our sails again, so we used the turning basin to turn the boat around, and we're thinking about just trying to head down this very thin channel to a more empty part of the anchorage. But the channel was only about 150 feet wide, which just didn't feel like a lot of room if something were to go sideways. As we turned in the basin, we saw a single open spot right at the edge, so we decided to go for it. We sailed near the spot, tried to turn up into the wind, and at the same time dropped the anchor. We ended up dropping about 80 feet of chain pretty quickly in 20 feet of water, and sailed over the anchor before it dug in hard and the current pulled us around the other way. We sat in the cockpit looking around, watching navionics to see if we were dragging, and after about 15 minutes, we decided we were dug in and good to wait for the towboat driver. I feel like I've promised myself that I would start looking a little bit more put together on videos, but this is what I look like today, as I've been throwing up for like 24 hours straight and have a headache. So we are getting towed, first time getting towed. Guy's great, and hopefully this all goes well. We're gonna get put in Anchorage really close by to where we're getting hauled out tomorrow, and they're gonna come back in the morning and bring us to the slip so we can get hauled out. We're probably gonna get to the Anchorage at like 1:30 in the morning, I think he said. It's been a long day. We ended up getting sick around midnight last night. Actually, I think it was like 10 for Patrick, midnight for me, and it is now like 10 p.m. again. Hunter is the absolute hero of this story, so definitely give him some love in the comments because he deserves it. And we're looking forward to sharing our journey with this haul out and being in the boatyard for the first time.
We made it to Florida safe. It's unfortunate. I feel like we were feeling pretty good about moving around and not getting too seasick. And then yesterday, especially in the Gulf Stream, just totally got the best of us. I think we both spent 24 hours basically throwing up and seasick. Shout out to Hunter for being like the absolute goat and managing 90% of the watch, because Michaela and I would come out here to do watch and just be throwing up the whole time. It was really not a good time, but we're still in high spirits, which is good.
Actually, even yesterday, for a lot of it, I was still in high spirits. Mostly yesterday, I was just feeling so much like guilt around Hunter having to take over. He was so nice about it. All I could do was lay down or I was throwing up. So I just like lay here while he was doing everything, and I tried to like make conversation and hang out a bit, but it was a rough day.
But we made it. We sailed, gosh, about 100 nautical miles from here at Sale Cay. We sailed into the inlet at night with no engine, and we're able to anchor down and get picked up by the towboat. Overall, like, everything went really well. It was just like the miserable experience of being sick, but you know, we kind of looked at it like it's just gonna be one very bad day.
Something I do is, and I said this to Hunter too, but I was like, every single second that passes is a second that we're closer. And seconds go by really fast, so they keep me in high spirits.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, I wish it didn't take us 14 hours or something to cross the Gulf Stream, because we just did not have enough wind to help us push even south at an angle. We ended up basically having to cross and then take like 3 or 4 hours south.
I'm a little bit nervous. Patrick's seen the boat get hauled out when the inspection was done. I've never seen any boat get hauled out, actually. I mean, I've seen boats on the heart, just not like out, like getting
moved around.
Yeah. So I'm kind of nervous to watch her get lifted.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be kind of scary to see her home just like dangling in the air. I'm gonna be so happy when we are on the hard though. And like, it's like, okay, we did it. The boat is here.
So we're almost through it. And then we get to, and then like the real project begins. Okay, anything else?
I love you.
I love you too, and we made it through it.
I will stay right here beside you to catch you if you fall.
Getting a little more modest.
modest. You know, the introduction, right?
Yeah.
Sex appeal can come out later.
Deep and abiding, liking for you.